Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. We're into day 4 now. As always, we're going to go through each and every one of these matches for today. Be sure to get your comments in with your predictions. Anything that I'm going for personally will always be in that pinned comment. Make sure you have a look at that. Like the video if you'd be so kind. Get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're not already. You can support the channel if you want. And we'll waste no more time with it. First things first. How did we all manage in day 3? I'll go first. It could have been a little bit better for me. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. I was a bit disappointed in Kamil Masharak, especially after how good he looked in that first set. And the same goes for Christian Garin, but you ain't going to catch me complaining. You know, if it weren't for Navone, it would have been a hell of a lot worse. Like I said, he managed to come through and cash that double, so we'll try and work on that today and we'll see what we've got. But did you win? Did you lose? Did you just come close? Share with the group. Don't be shy. And that'll do us. Now that's out the way. Mexico it is. Who've we got? First off, we've got Emilio Nava coming up against Bu. Should be a decent match. Couldn't really tell you who's going to win this one. I mean, it's kind of a coin flip. Getting Bu as the slightest of favourites, call it 1.8. We kind of expected them. Well, to say we kind of expected them, we totally expected Bu to get past his match in the first round, tiebreaker in the first, and then it was a lot more convincing in that second set. Emilio Nava, I mean, even though he was the slightest of dogs against Vukic, it's Alexander Vukic in it for fuck's sake, but nonetheless, still a decent win from the American. He looked good too. He looked fairly decent, didn't drop a set. And now they're pitted against each other. I do think that was the first main draw win for Bu since, I've just had it up, 1 second, I've just had it in front of me, since Miami, so March, pretty much since we come off the hard court, he ain't been doing much. But to say that, you know, he hasn't exactly done much all season. I expected a lot more to start the year off, didn't really get it. He had a fairly decent run. He got to the final in Turin on the Challenger Tour on the clay, but then ever since that, first round exits, 5 game losing streak, and then coming into Mexico, gets himself a decent win against a rather comfortable opponent, let's just say that. I imagine the American is going to be a bit of a tougher task, if I had to imagine. Thing is with Nava, if you can take out Vukic, I imagine you should be able to take out, let's just say, this version of Bu. You know, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Bu was to lose this one. Maybe not so much this year, more so last season. We know Bu is more than capable of beating, well, let's just say he's more capable of beating better players than Emilio Nava on the day. I haven't really seen it much this year, seen it quite a lot last season, especially towards the end. I don't know, man, I'm pretty sure Nava's just touching on that top 100. He's 123 in the world. I don't really know how far away he is, but I imagine you're going to be pushing. But then again, that was the first tour level win for the American so far this season, and he's played 58 games as well. Excuse me. 36 and 14 on the clay, 1 and 2 on the hard court. It's tough. You know, you've got Bu on one hand. To say he's snapping back into form, I'd say it's a bit too soon to say that. You know, the level of opponents weren't exactly the greatest. And then you've got Nava, who just seems to have, I won't say came out of nowhere, because he's got himself a lot of wins, pretty much done all the damage on the clay this season. Some decent wins too, couple of decent names here and there. Managed to get himself his first hard court win. It's a very small sample size. Maybe look at it over. I wouldn't be surprised if either one won this one. Maybe just take either one for a set. Nava for a set, maybe. I don't know. I'd say Bu probably should be getting it done, but I don't really know. It's hard to gauge the level of Bu at the moment, so I'd probably just stay well away from that one if you were having a bet. And then we'll move on to Nanda and El Shapo. Got to be El Shapo. Well, I say it's got to be El Shapo. You would assume Denis Shapovalov should be beating Govin Nanda, although he did pull off the upset against Colton Smith, and the odds are identical in this one, which is a bit crazy to think, when, you know, in hindsight. Colton Smith was the exact same price as what El Shapo was. I can't talk tonight. and he managed to do that in straight sets, and he looks solid too. Decent service games. Probably hasn't come as that much as a surprise to some rather than others. I did expect Colton Smith to win, and I thought he was, if anything, the much more accomplished of the two, but apparently not. Denis Shapovalov needs to win. The time is now. Surely the time is now. We're not on the clay anymore. We're not on the grass. There's no more excuses. No more excuses. Did we see him last time out? Was he in Acapulco? I'm pretty sure it was. He done fairly decent last time we were in Mexico on the hard court. He got to the semi-finals before he got beat by Davidovich Fokina in a very close game. It shouldn't really be a question. El Shapo pretty much should be getting this one done. 1.2 seems very, very steep considering what we've seen the past couple of months from the Canadian. But I say I'm expecting him to get back to winning ways. If this isn't the type of matchup to do it, then I don't know what is for Denis Shapovalov. So we'll see how he gets on. See what he looks like on the day. I'm fully expecting him to get that one done. 1.2 does seem very steep, if you ask me. So next off, we've got Quinton Halys coming up against Ficovich. It's got to be Quinton Halys in this one. I say it's got to be. I would imagine Quinton Halys has got more than enough to get this one done. He'd be more than happy to get back onto the hard court. Pretty snide grass campaign, you'd say. Pretty snide indeed. I think it's safe to say he does the majority of the damage on the hard court. We know how lethal he can be, especially with that serve as well. I mean, his opponent did look good in his first match. I'll give him that. That was just the first win on the tour. Well, a tour level win since 2022. I fear whatever he had in the first round may not be enough for Quinton Halys on the day. Like I say, there's just levels. There's just levels to this. What is the price, you may ask? 1.3. 1.3 is the price that you're going to have to pay for Quinton Halys today. Like I say, Ficovich getting that first win over Kachmazov straight set. I wouldn't read into that too much. I don't think I'll be taking Quinton Halys at 1.3. I am fully expecting him to win, if I'm being honest with you. But we'll leave that one there. And who else have we got? We've got Kovacevic, Luis Alvarez Valdez. Should be an interesting one. I'm very, very interested to see how this one goes down. I thought Kovacevic, and we knew he was going to beat Khabib, may have been a little bit closer than I would have liked, or a bit closer than I expected. But he got the win, and that's all that matters, and he's coming into this one at Djokovic prices 1.15 for the American. 4-1 dog, 4.5-1 for the young Mexican, who more than impressed in his first round match. We've got to give him that. I thought he looked really good against James McCabe. James McCabe, prior to that match, whether you want to admit it or not, massive jump up in caliber of opponents for the young Mexican, and he turned up and made him look fucking stupid. 6-1, 6-2. Now, I am fully aware that Kovacevic is even quite the step up from a James McCabe. With him being at home, I would like to think he's going to be more than inspired to see how far he can go. He looked really good. He's only young. We are kind of still dealing with the unknown with this lad, no doubt. Kovacevic is good though, man. Like we mentioned, these back-to-back quarterfinals in this tournament for the American. He's very powerful, man. He likes to take that ball early, that backhand as well. When it's firing, not a lot you can do against that. It's so lethal, really, really deadly. I'm seeing 5.5 on a spread, and I don't know, it could even go to 6. I don't think it will. 5.5 for the Mexican. That's 7 games, providing he gets beaten straight sets. That's very tempting, Just going off what we've seen in the first round, I don't know whether it's going to be a bit of a red herring or not. Like I say, Kovacevic, quite the step up from a James McCabe, but if I was him, I'd be feeling myself. I would most definitely be feeling myself, and you have to admit the level definitely dropped from Kovacevic in that match against Khabib. Definitely in the second set, and pretty much at the start of the third as well. He lost his serve, got it back, and then managed to just regain control right when he needed to. There's no business to be done at 1.15. If this was in any other tournament, we probably wouldn't even talk about this at all, just going off what the odds are. But I wouldn't mind just taking the Mexican plus the 5.5 there and hoping you can just get a couple of games either set. You might even win. You never know. You never know. We might be looking at another prodigy in the making. You never know. Can you say prodigy at 20 years old? Probably not, right? But you never know. We could see a bit of a diamond in the rough here. Oh, I'm very, very hesitant. I'm very hesitant with this one. I would love to. That would be the way to play it, I think. Maybe the over on the total games won. I'm not too sure. 5.5, anyone with the Mexican? Do you think we've seen enough against James McCabe, or do you think Kovacevic is just going to blast them off the court like 6-2, 6-1? I don't know. I'd be a little bit, I wouldn't say surprised, I'd be a little bit disappointed for him. Or maybe not disappointed either. I'd be gutted for him if he turns up to this one and it's just a clear skill gap. I'd like to think he can keep that one within the 5.5, especially with him being the youngster at home. That would be the play for me. And then we've got Daniel Altamier, Tristan Schoolkate. Interesting, very interesting to say the least. I think Tristan Schoolkate is one more win away from getting into that top 100, so he'll be more than inspired to get this one done. Daniel Altamier, we knew he'd beat Mitchell Kruger. We knew he'd get that one done. I'm not really surprised there, and he looked quite solid doing it too. That makes it, on the hard court now, 6 wins, 8 losses for the German, 26-15 for the Australian. Then we've seen him play Yannick Sinner at the start of the season, and he take a set off Yannick Sinner. I'm pretty sure he did. Let me just double check. He did. Does the majority of the damage, if not all the damage, on the hard court. So he pulled off the upset in the first round, dropped that first set to Wu. That's a dig deep, found his level, and then managed to maintain it. Came out victorious in the end. 3 sets. I think he could definitely give it to Daniel Altamier today. It just depends how much he wants it. Daniel Altamier, like we mentioned, much more experienced, probably much more seasoned as well, especially at tour level. Although the biggest concern for me, and it'll always be there when we're dealing with this guy, he's not on the clay. He's not on the clay. He has went 6-8 on the hard court this year. And if we're looking at the wins, I mean, Charles Broom, Comesana, Kekmanovic, Dusan Lazovic, David Goffin. I know, it's tough, innit? It's very tough. I don't know, to say the least. I'm not that impressed with them. Probably not that fair. You know, he has made some significant improvements on pretty much all the surfaces. He played better indoors than what he does outdoors, according to the record. But I don't know, man. We could be in the danger zone. Daniel Altamier could be entering the danger zone on this one. It's currently sitting at around 1.7. What did this open up at? Are you going to tell me 1.6 this opened up at for me? It's now currently at 1.7. We'll keep an eye on it. I wouldn't mind taking Tristan Schoolkate as a slight dog. Just as the slightest dogs as a little sprinkle. I'm not too sure. Maybe Daniel Altamier will just have enough to grind them out. Maybe taking over. Like I say, that top 100's beckoning. How much does he want it? Shall remain to be seen. And then we've got Andrei Rublev coming up against Hernandez Serrano. Look, 1.02 for Rublev. You're not going anywhere near that. Not going anywhere near that. He is a big favourite to win this title, and rightly so. 15.5 to 1 for the dog. I don't know what the spread's going to be on. That's probably massive. It's the dog with the spread or nothing if you're talking value, but you don't need me to tell you Andrei Rublev pretty much should be getting that one done. And then 2 more. We've got Adam Walton and Nishesh Basavareddy. Should be a close one. Could be a good one. They've played each other twice before. Both of those going the way of the American. Both on the hard court as well. Both in straight sets. Nice. Should fill you full of confidence if you are Nishesh Basavareddy coming into this today. Both won the first round matches in straight sets too. I thought Nishesh looked decent against Nicholas Major, and he had to. It couldn't have come at a better time, that win. I mean, if I'd have told you that Basavareddy hadn't won a main draw match since January, would you have believed me? Probably not, right? But it's true. It's so true. Yeah. What I will say is this. He did look good at the start of the season. As we mentioned, he looked decent at the start of the season over on the hard court. We came off the hard court onto the clay. Kind of lost his way a bit. Didn't manage to find his groove on the grass. as soon as we come back to the hard court. You know, should it be a surprise that he's winning again? Not only winning 6-4, 6-1, absolutely smoked him. Happy days, happy days. The exact same could be said for Adam Walton as well. This was another one, done a lot of damage on the hard court to start the season. He's only played hard court tournaments. Sorry, I've clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry, he's only pretty much only won on the hard court is what I meant to say. He played a lot of them at the start of the season. Went on some solid runs as well. Semi-finals, a final here and there, you know, a couple deep ones. Shit on the clay, shit on the grass. And now, like I said, is it a surprise? We come back to the hard court and he's back where he wants to be. Probably not. I think the odds are very reflective on how this one may or may not end up going. 1.7 to 1.75 for Nishesh. I would be leaning with him. I'd be leaning with him. I know Adam Walton's no joke. I do think he's definitely there to make it tough for Nishesh. He's even there to win it. Maybe look at a Nova, either one for a set. I'd lean towards the American, just based on what I know already. And then we'll wrap this up over in Mexico with James Duckworth and Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. Some good games. Tough ones, very tough ones today, nonetheless. We seen this not that long ago over in Eastbourne on the grass. Davidovich Fokina got that one done just about. He did drop that first set in a tiebreaker and come back 6-3 and 6-4 in the second and third. Duckworth does have a win over the Spaniard on the hard court. That was back in 2019, so maybe disregard that. I'm seeing Davidovich Fokina as quite a big favourite here, 1.25 to be precise. Now I think James Duckworth can keep that close. I don't know what the spread is, 3.5, 4.5 maybe. 4.5 is probably a push, right? Maybe 3. I don't know, he looked good against Mannarino, but how much weight that holds, I'm not entirely sure. 6-3, 6-4. We haven't seen Davidovich Fokina since Wimbledon. I'm expecting him to get it done. He should just be better than James Duckworth. If we're just touching on the Spaniard for a moment, I think pretty much throughout the entire of the season, he's been one of, or if not the one of, definitely one of the most consistent players we've had on the tour. Solid on the hard court, solid on the clay, solid on the grass. If you look at the people he's lost to, like the recent losses anyway, Taylor Fritz in Wimbledon, Taylor Fritz in Eastbourne, Lehechka in the French Open, Flavio Cobolli in Germany, that absolute stinker to Jesper de Jong, but that seems like quite some time ago, doesn't it? And then Zverev, Kachanov, Alcaraz. Seems like he's only getting beat by the best, you know what I mean? Or top level opponents anyway. I would imagine it would take quite something for James McCabe to pull off the upset today, but I do think he can keep it close. I wouldn't be surprised if he could cover his spread. Davidovich Fokina is definitely prone to a stinker every now and then. We'll see how he gets on coming back to the hard court. I don't think he should have much trouble at all. I'll be going with the Spaniard in that. What's the price again? 1.25, barely 1.3. It's very steep indeed. So you do with that what you will. Very well then, folks. We will head on over to Sweden. Just a couple in this one. First off, we've got Ugo Carabelli and Botic van der Zandschulp. Should be interesting. I couldn't tell you who's going to win this one. It's just one of them. It really is a coin flip. You pick heads for one, tails for the other, and you just go with that. It really is a roll of the dice. Regardless to what the odds are telling me here, I think Ugo Carabelli might be in with a decent chance to take this one. There's quite a bit of dough coming in on Botic van der Zandschulp at the moment. This opened up around 2.2 for Van der Zandschulp. He's currently sitting around 1.85, so you can get either one as a favourite depending where you look. Don't really know how I feel about that. Obviously, quite a lot of people fancy a little piece of the Dutchman today. I don't know, man. I'd maybe lean towards an over. He did look good against Michael Ymer, but I don't know how much weight a win like that holds at the moment. Ugo Carabelli, although it wasn't the result I was looking for, did look decent enough. You know, he pretty much done all you needed to do to take advantage of an opponent like that. Happy days for him. Back to winning ways as well. Like, we kind of knew it would happen, did we not? We're just going off what we know on the clay. 24 wins, 13 losses for Carabelli, 8-8 for Van der Zandschulp. Much more promising this year. I just think much more promising overall. The Argentine is made of clay, whereas Van de Zandschulp is very, very inconsistent at the best of days. So I wouldn't mind taking Carabelli as a slight dog pick. Is it even a dog pick? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it ends up. See what this price ends up like nearer the time. Just keep an eye on it. Maybe take him for a set. Maybe lean towards an over. We could be in for a tough one there. And then next up, we've got Filip Misolic against Nuno Borges. Defending champ, Nuno Borges. How's he going to get on with the transition back onto the clay? He's a very slight favourite in this. We're showing a lot of respect to Filip Misolic, and rightly so. He's been on fire. Been on fire so far this year. 48 wins, 15 losses, 34 wins, 9 losses on the clay. And then Nuno Borges, just 8 and 7 on the dirt. Not much to write home about. I think it's very easy to say Nuno Borges doesn't really set the world alight when it comes to clay court tennis, but you know, evidently if he's going to do damage on any surface, it's probably going to be this one. You know, I completely forgot he won this last year. Fair play to him. How's he going to get on this year? Didn't have the greatest grass campaign, to say the least. Like I say, this year 8 and 7 is not bad. Probably imagine Nuno Borges may have expected a little bit more from himself. I don't know why Filip Misolic wouldn't beat the likes of a Nuno Borges on the clay, especially with what he's been doing so far this season. He's been fucking everybody up. Pretty much just going on crazy runs, more or less every tournament that he's in. He's been fantastic. That's some clay record, it really is. Okay, you'd say Nuno Borges is probably a bit more seasoned than the majority of the players he's used to come up against on any given day, but he's got some decent wins, man. He's taken out some solid opponents. I think Nuno Borges would slot perfectly into that category. Look, you're a defending champ. The last thing you want to do is go out in the first game. The last thing you want to do. I know we had a word about the inspiration levels of certain players coming into this tournament off the back of the slam and whatnot, but if you're the defending champ, mate, you need to try. You need to try and win this. I would expect Nuno Borges to pretty much go all out to get this one done. It should be a very interesting game. We could be in for a long one, either one for a set. 1.8 for Nuno Borges. Hindsight, that may seem like a steal, but I don't know. Filip Misolic, he's good, man. He's good. He's tough. He's powerful, and he can deal with most. And if you can deal with most, I'd certainly say you could deal with Nuno Borges. So we'll leave that one there, and we'll assess the situation tomorrow. And then last one for today, because we had Gaston and Demir Juma in yesterday's video. I thought it was yesterday. It got moved to today. We've got Francisco Cerundolo and Mariano Navone. Belter. Absolute belter. Probably the most interesting one of the day over in Sweden, in my opinion. Getting Cerundolo at a slight favourite here, 1.7. How do we feel about this? How do we feel about Cerundolo as a slight favourite, considering we haven't seen him since the first round in Wimbledon, and he is currently on a 4-game losing streak? Don't really like that. The losses ain't too bad, to be honest with you. Lehechka, Diallo, Michelsen, and then Nuno Borges. It's alright. Mariano Navone, on the other hand, it's quite the contrary. He's currently on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game winning streak. He looked fairly decent in the first round against Barrios Vera. Kind of dropped the level a little bit, but no damage done in the end. That most importantly. Now, these have played each other once before. It was last year, and obviously it was on the clay. Very close game. It just went the way of Mariano Navone in the end. 7-5 in the first to Cerundolo, 6-4, 7-5 for Navone. Happy days. I'd say both of them are more than capable of beating each other. Just based on what we know, you don't need me to tell you that Francisco Cerundolo is most definitely the more accomplished of the pair. But just going on form alone, I don't really feel comfortable taking Cerundolo. It's a great price for him, it really is. Like I say, he's super good on the clay. He's one of the more lethal ones when he's on form, but he's bang out of form. How much of that has got to do with the grass? But even before the grass, Hamburg, French Open, I expected more, and I didn't get it. Didn't get nothing on the grass. Now we come back to the clay. If there's ever a time to start getting some wins for a Francisco Cerundolo, it is most definitely now. Where's the money coming in on? Let me just double check. What did this open up at? I am very intrigued to know. not a lot going on at the moment, actually, to be fair. It's kind of set how it is. Mariano Navone around the evens. Probably doesn't feel right to go against them. Currently on a heater, is he not? You can't deny the form. You let me know. Would you lean towards an over in that? You can see both of them taking a set. The way Navone is playing at the moment, you'd have to assume he's good for at least a set. So maybe have a look at that. Maybe stick that on as a little parlay piece. And I think that's going to do us. Alright then, folks, we shall finish off over in Switzerland. So first off for us, we have got Francisco Comesana and Roberto Carballes-Baena. Very interesting indeed. Getting Comesana around 1.55. I kind of agree with him being a favourite. That big of a favourite, I'm not too sure. Carballes-Baena is no joke on the clay. Going off the first round, I was much more impressed with the Argentine pulling off the win against Trungelliti, evening out the head-to-head there. Happy days. Carballes-Baena easily could have went either way. He looked in a bit of trouble for some points in that game. He did drop the first set. It was quite a bad one as well, 6-1. Managed to pull it back 6-2 in the second, and then a tie-break in the third. Like I say, it doesn't get much closer than that against Carlos Taberna. I would imagine if Comesana can just bring pretty much the same level that he delivered in the first round, he should be able to get this one done against Carballes-Baena. 17-12 for the Argentine on the clay, 6-7. That's not really like the Spaniard, is it? You'd expect a lot more than that. I imagine he would have expected a lot more from himself this season. Hasn't exactly went the way he would have planned it to, especially on the clay. He's fantastic, usually on the clay, just hasn't quite been able to find it this season for some reason or other. I would have to go with Comesana. I'd have to. Even from what we've seen from Carballes-Baena on the dirt so far this year, it's not been enough. It has not been enough. He's beat Otto Virtanen, Nuno Borges. That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I need to see a little bit more, and at this point in the season, are we going to get it? I'm not too sure. Now is most certainly the time for the Spaniard. I couldn't go against Comesana in this one, folks. That would be the way I'd be looking. And then we've got Cazaux, Thomas Etcheverry. I'll be leaning with Etcheverry, going with the Argentine once again. Now, both of these they're in quite bad form, to say the least. I mean, Cazaux is probably in better form than Etcheverry. Maybe it's not too fair to say that. He won a couple of games qualifying for Wimbledon, then he won his first round match, but his season as a whole has been far from impressive. 11-12 for the French, and then I suppose the same could be said to a certain extent about Etcheverry. 18 wins, 23 losses, 10-12 on the clay. We expect a lot more than that. Head-to-head is 2-0 to the Argentine, both of them coming on the clay. One last year, French Open, and the year before on the Challenger Tour. I'd fancy him to get this one done. I'm not so certain what version of Etcheverry is going to turn up for this one. We haven't seen him play. Well, me personally, I haven't seen him play since Wimbledon, and he weren't that convincing. He has had 2 games in the Bundesliga, and he's went 1-1. Cazaux did manage to get past Basavareddy in the first round, just about. Took the 3 sets. You're pretty much just going to have to go off what you would assume. Like, who do you think's just going to turn up on the day? Who's more capable of turning up and delivering a performance on the clay when both are fully fit? It would have to be Etcheverry, would it not? So we'll leave that one there. And then 2 more. We have got Alexander Shevchenko versus Alexander Bublik. Alexander squared. Oh, I'm very, very close to taking Bublik today, man. Surely he should get this one done. A fair play to Shevchenko for getting past Stan Wawrinka, especially in straight sets. How much weight that holds at this current point, I'm not too sure. 6-3, 6-2. It was quite a convincing win. I will give him that. Alexander Bublik, he should be more than rested. Did take the title over in Germany, and then big upset. First round exit in Wimbledon, got beat by Jamie Munar in 5 sets, and we've not seen him since. Plenty of rest for Bublik in this one. Is it just going to be back to business as normal? I'd hope so. I'd expect so. I'd say he's been playing too good for quite some time now to turn up and get destroyed by Alexander Shevchenko. I mean, he's 17 wins, 14 on the clay. It's not too bad. That's not too bad. 15 and 6 for Bublik. Much better. Much better record against much better opponents. You have to admit that. 22 and 25 for Shevchenko on the season. 27 and 17. Shouldn't really be a question. I should be pretty much 100% certain with Bublik on this one, and I'm getting 1.6 on the decimal. I don't know. Maybe I should just take that and run with it. I'm not so sure. I know he's got more than enough to beat Shevchenko. That's not even a question. I said they played each other twice before, both last year, once on the grass, once on the indoor hard court. I'd fancy Bublik to get it done on the clay. I really would. You just look at some of the names he was taking out on the grass. I mean, I know it's a different surface, but even looking at the wins he had on the clay, he did win a title on the clay mid-May. He's beat like Alex Michelson, Alexei Popyrin, Andrei Rublev, Roman Safulin, Gigante, Etcheverry, Altamier, Boo, Duckworth, the Demon, Jack Draper. Come on. 1.6, are we taking that? Is it a trap? I don't know. I expected him to be a much bigger favourite than that. So maybe I should just take it while I can. 1.6 for Bublik would be the play on that one. And then we'll wrap this shit up with Francesco Passaro and Jeremy Kim. I think I'd be going with the Italian to get this one done. He's looked solid. Jeremy Kim looked decent against Calvin Henry in the first round. 3 sets. It was close. A bit back and forth. You know, the level kind of raised. It kind of dipped. It is what it is. It was one of them matches. He got the win. That's all that matters. That's all he'll be bothered about anyway, most definitely. I think Francesco Passaro has looked very, very solid. He's kind of flew under my radar a little bit so far this week. He come through qualifying without dropping a set. And then the game against Artur Rinderknech, we sensed he was a bit of danger. Something was afoot on that one. Straight set for the Italian in that 6-1, 7-5, absolute beatdown. Opened up a can on Rinderknech, who's been playing well. Rinderknech's been playing very good the past month or two. Excuse me. Jeremy Kim, I mean, this is his home tournament, let's not forget that. 13 and 9 on the date for Kim, 20 and 9 for Passaro. Just, I can't look past that match against Artur Rinderknech. Okay, it may have not been an entirely fully inspired Artur Rinderknech, but it's neither here nor there. Currently getting Francesco Passaro around 1.6 to 1.7, depending where you look. For me personally, Bet365, this opened up around 1.8. He's now sitting at 1.6. Quite a few people fancy a piece of the Italian today, and I may just well be one of them. I just might. Don't know what the odds would be for him to win a set. I'd say he's got more than enough to get this one done. Seems a little bit hotter, don't he? A little bit more good to go than Jeremy Kim, and that's not taking anything away from the Swiss guy. You know, I'm not too familiar with his game. I do know Francesco Passaro. I've seen him a little bit more so last season. The game against Dimitrov in Rome, we remember that. I'd say, you know, you play that good against Rinderknech, if you can repeat the performance, come out more or less the exact same, you should be able to beat Jeremy Kim. But I wouldn't be too sure. You can never really sleep on these dogs, especially in these smaller tournaments, especially the home dogs as well. It can be quite treacherous to do so. But you let me know. I'm not too sure. It's going to be one of them days. You're going to have to take what you can get. Today, folks, please do let me know what you're going for. And I think we'll just leave it at that. I have got some night shifts that I need to get to, so I think that will most definitely do us. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for watching the show. As always, you mean a lot to me. Like and subscribe, yeah? You take it easy. Take care of yourselves. You take care of one another. It's the most important thing. Very well then. Best of luck. Best of luck to each and every one of you. Thanks for everyone who's been getting involved and continues to be involved each and every day. I appreciate that. Appreciate it more than you know. Let's go get that cash, yeah? See if we can do a little bit better today. Get yourself involved. Don't be shy. Best of luck to you. Enjoy the matches today, and I'll see you tomorrow.